Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a Impressionist Floral. We're going to be doing 3 of these in the series, and I'm going to be trying to keep this very simple so it be beginner level friendly. I'm going to show you step by step how to do it all the way from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show tonight, so if you've got questions, you can post those in all caps and we'll try to answer them during the show. Let's get started. All right, so this is the reference image blown up. This is the one we're going to be doing tonight out of the 3. This will be next week, next Tuesday night's one here. I didn't print the other one out yet. We're using a 12-inch by 12-inch Fredrix plein air paint board, mixed media. Thank you to them for providing these. They're actually kind of a solid core recycled material, so they're nice. They're kind of solid, but they've got just a little bit of tack to the surface, which is nice. So let me set that aside really quick. We'll go over our paint colors with you. We've got Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Yellow Oxide. This one's Phthalo Green Blue shade, but if you have yellow shade, you can use that instead. Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple, Burnt Sienna, and Burnt Umber. Let's go over our brushes real quick. I've got a large bright. This is the Princeton 6100 series. This is number 12. I'll be using in the background. And then for some of the, on the picture, I'll probably be using the number 8 bright. For some of the floral, we'll be doing leaves with the Filbert, number 4, and the number 4 round. And then we'll have the Princeton VelvetTouch brushes, a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch to make some of our lines and some of our flowers and leaves and things. And fan brush, this is the 10-aught Select Bristle fan and the number 1 Select liner. So I'm not sure if we'll use all of these, but we've got them set out just in case.
Okay, 2 questions before we start. 1, what is the name of the canvas type that you're using again?
It is the plein air paint board Nature Core Mixed Media.
Okay.
That's Pro Series. So
of course.
Right.
What else would we use? And then the second is, what color nail polish do you have on?
That is the holographic color that it's actually in my Amazon list. Yeah, it's nice. A holographic paint. It's in the random things that I like board. If you go to the amazon.com/shop/Angela Fine Art, you'll see 3 different lists. One's got music and books, and one's got art supplies, and then the other one's got random stuff, just nail polish and different things.
And you did nothing to this canvas to prepare it?
No.
Right, you just unwrapped it, slapped it down, and here we go.
That's it.
Did you?
All right, so I'm going to use some chalk here. I am going to put in a line for our kind of horizon line, I guess you call it. And I can kind of just use a chalk and sort of rest my finger across the bottom edge there. And I should be able to get a pretty straight line that way. And then we'll put our picture down kind of just below that line right here. So I'm going to start with white, and we're just going to be doing kind of grays in the background. So it's going to be all kind of very subtle colors for this canvas. So I'm going to just start with some white and some light ultramarine, or light, I always do that, unbleached titanium. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm just going to kind of slap that on there through this whole background here.
Okay, do we know about how much those canvases are?
I do not know that. Sorry.
Are they in our store or your store?
I'm not sure if I was able to find them or not. I wasn't able to find all of the canvases. If they're not, you could use a mixing kind of a gray color with the burnt umber and ultramarine blue here. Ooh, that's pretty. And I've got lots of white on this, so I'm just going to kind of put it behind sort of where my flowers are going to go here. So there's a little bit of contrast because some of these flowers are going to be white. So I just want a little bit of something, and I'm really just slapping it on there. Get your aggressions out here. Let it just kind of do what it wants to do here. It's kind of hard to see, actually. There's a little bit of these white on white. Doesn't look like I'm doing a whole lot on camera there.
Yeah, somebody had commented before the show started that they'd be interested to see how you handle this with the subtle color difference between the background and the vase.
Yeah, it is very different. Hopefully it's showing up on camera.
Yep.
I'm grabbing. It is? Okay, good. Grabbing some more of the Unbleached Titanium there, and a little bit of water. So just every now and then I'm dipping into my water so that I'm keeping my brush hydrated. That's one of the most important things. People, I get comments a lot about people saying, that I use a lot less paint than they do. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the amount of water that you're using in your brush. If you're not keeping your brush hydrated, what it'll do is just kind of hold on to that paint and soak it all up. And so when you're getting to painting like this, it won't flow onto the canvas really well. It'll kind of just stick to the top. It won't move around very well, and it'll stick to itself. The paint will be dry, and it'll kind of stick to itself. It'll stick to... It just doesn't flow smoothly. So you end up using more because it's just kind of all sticking and not moving around for you. So just keep that in mind. If you're kind of feeling like you're using too much paint, be sure you're watching your water usage and add lots of water every now and then. Just keep your brush hydrated. Okay, there we go. It's looking pretty good. So it's very subtle, kind of just light cream and gray.
And you're just leaving a thin line at the bottom.
Yeah, just a thin line at the bottom here, and I'm going to do a little bit darker gray for that. So I'm going to use that gray, the same gray, the Ultramarine Blue and the Burnt Umber, and I'm just going to do kind of a darker gray all along this bottom edge here. And really, if we were being smart, we would be doing our sides at this point too, but I'm not going to do that tonight. It's just going to take a little bit too long. See, the more I press down, the kind of more different colors are happening there, which is, I don't mind. There we go. Gives it a little bit of variation. Okay, so if you want to get a good, nice, smooth line, you're going to set your brush down and just slide it along that line there. And you can get, oh, now I'm making it wider than I need it to be. And if it starts breaking up, just get a little bit of water. And then smooth out any lines that you've got, any kind of ridges in your paint, so that you don't have a thick bead of paint anywhere, because you don't want that happening. All right, I'll go ahead and kind of slap this on the sides too while I got it on my brush as well. And then I'm going to have you dry this for me, hon.
Okay. And then you didn't do a practice painting. This is first time live.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay, here we go. I'll let you have that. I was going to say, if you can't find this in my Amazon store, you might be able to find it on like a website. Oh, yeah. Right, you're stalling. Like Dick Blick or one of those other art websites that I'm just cleaning out my brush here, so not very exciting. I don't hear Mark blow drying, so he's taking his time with that today. Now I hear it. Okay. All right, so let's do Stickman here. He's our little mascot. I'll try to do him whenever Mark's busy blow drying something. So we'll give him a little picture Let's just stick it in the boat here. And then next week we can give him some flowers in it. We'll see. There he's got a little picture sitting in his boat. We gave him a waterfall on Saturday. If you missed it, this was our waterfall painting. I think it was actually pretty easy. So if you're looking to kind of learn how to do something like this, if you've done my lavender painting, this one's very similar to the lavender down here. And then, okay, he's back. Here we go. Good. All right. So you can see how it kind of dries a little bit darker too, which is nice with acrylics. So we'll be able to kind of work with that. We can add our lighter color picture on top here, and we'll have some dark color. But it's still very, very light. It's not super dark. All right, let me see here. Let me go ahead and grab that blue. And if you look at our photograph, I'm going to go ahead and keep it kind of going off the edge here. So if we make this square, it's about right here, like right there, our boundaries. And so our center of our photo is right at the top of the picture and the edge of the handle. So we kind of make a mark in the middle of our canvas. This is where our handle is going to start to come down. And our picture is right from the halfway mark to about, if this is the quarter mark, so maybe an eighth. So we're going to go just below this line right here and kind of do, it's pretty much a straight line, maybe a little tiny bit curved. And it's, I guess we could do about 3 or 4 fingers. Yeah, about 3 fingers from the edge. Maybe 4. Let's do 4. So we're going to do an angle up this way. Angle up this way. So it's kind of narrow right here. And then at the very top of this handle, it's kind of a straight line. And then angles down there. Can you see this at all? Let me use the chalk marker. Okay, so here's our top of our handle there. Here's the bottom of our picture right there. And then we've got our angled lines here and here. And we kind of just want to make sure that these angles sort of match up. So just make sure that you're not like, off on one side too much. And then it's going to curve out this way. And it's going to come past this edge, so it's going to be farther out than this line here. So then, and then go across here. Like that. And then our handle, this is actually kind of coming out like this. Our handle is actually right here, so that ignore that top line there. Ignore this little part. We can just erase it. We don't need that. So this handle is going to come right from that crease right here. So there's a crease right here. It's going to come up to that line and down to about right here. Most of this top part here is going to be covered, so I'm not worried too much about it. I'm using those chalk markers that I was using last weekend. It seemed to work pretty well. So there we go. So it's coming to about the little bit past the halfway mark. If this is our halfway mark, the handle's coming just a little bit past it. All right, so let's use the number 8 bright. We'll grab some white. Just going to slap that on there. Get a little bit of water. Go right over those lines. And if you want to, you can tape this off if you're worried about it not being straight enough. It'll be an easy way to
But make sure you
get a
use
straight line.
blue painter's tape.
Yeah,
Don't use masking tape.
that's true.
Definitely not duct tape
Right.
or anything like that.
Good point.
Just
Yeah.
in case there are any husbands out there watching. I want to clarify there. Just hear him peeling off a big old strip of duct tape right now.
Need tape? I got tape. I got your tape, babe.
That's right. Heck, they even make it in pretty colors and designs nowadays.
That's true, they do. We've given the boys duct tape in their stockings for several years now.
Yeah. Camouflage. And stuff.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese one, yeah, American flag. All kinds of different ones. All right, I'm going to turn this over so I can get kind of a good straight line on this, using that edge of my brush again. It's definitely, I can see the chalk there through this, so
Uh-oh.
I'm going to have to, yeah, I know.
It was at this moment she wish she'd not done that.
Yeah, it's about right. Okay, I'm going to use burnt umber here, and I'm just going to tap it. This bottom edge is all kind of rusted in our photograph. You can see it's got kind of a rusty dark edge there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of that ultramarine blue too and make that dark gray. I'm just going to tap that along that edge. Going to mix a little bit with the white. We'll go back in and add some more of the dark here, but that's all right. We're just going to, for now, give it that kind of broken edge look. And I'm just kind of using the corner of my brush in it. If you want to zoom in, hon, I don't know if they can see very well from that far away.
Oh man, Trish is going to be ecstatic when I'm zooming in.
Okay.
She's been bugging me about it.
She wants you to zoom in?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good.
But don't tell her
So
that.
if it kind of taps straight down, that brush kind of flares out a little bit. You can use the corner of it to get little rough edges happening. See that? Let's do it up here, kind of where the split happens. There's also like a little rusty part. I'm just going to tap into that wet paint and it'll create our little rusty line. And where our handle meets is also a little bit rusted out. And then let's use a little bit more blue. It's more of that white. And this area up here is pretty dark. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the gray. Most of this is going to get covered up by our flowers, so we don't have to worry about that top line being perfect.
Now, is that Angela's favorite gray?
It is.
Okay, just making sure.
It is. It's ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Okay, and I'm going to grab some white and just pull it over the top of that wet paint, kind of in this direction. Sort of streak it in there. And then let's use a little bit of it along this edge. Just gonna streak it over the top. That paint's still wet, so I'm just gonna use this very, very lightly here. Just trying to kind of get a little bit of a, oops, I was off camera. Dang it. You didn't tell me.
Nope, I was watching chat.
Huh?
I was watching chat.
Sorry.
You were mostly on. Just
Mostly
that
on.
bottom corner was off.
Okay, good.
They can use their imagination.
Okay, good. All right, so let's just streaking a little bit there, and then let's streak a little bit on the other side to get a little bit more water. Let's streak a little bit in on this side too. This one, the gray is a little bit more of the blue side. So I've got a little bit more of the gray blue, and I want it to kind of do this broken sort of streaky thing happening. So it doesn't have to be a smooth blend here. White, kind of going over the top. Blending that in. This brush is really pretty much too big. Let me get a little smaller brush. Let me get the 3/8 inch angle here. There we go. Fit it in there a little bit easier. Okay. And then let's do the handle. Also going to be kind of that gray blue color mostly. There's quite a bit of white mixed in with this. This is not a... And I'm just going to use in that edge, smushing it flat as I paint this in. Okay. There we go. Let's grab a little bit more of that ultramarine blue and brown. Like a nice dark gray. I'm going to tap in some really dark detail there and a little really dark down here. Kind of coming up the side of the picture. Move it up there.
You're close. So we got a question or two when you're ready.
All right.
First one was, when you look at a painting or look at a picture that you want to paint, how do you know what colors to choose to do?
Well, I look really closely at the colors that are in the shadows. And then if I can kind of figure those out, then usually the highlight colors are variations of that. Not doing a very good job here. Okay. I'm trying to go fast, but I'm not painting very cleanly here. Just slow down. Doing a little bit darker gray there, and I want a little bit of a white highlight on the inside. So I'm going to grab a little bit of white, go over just like that while that's wet. So I laid down a little bit more paint because it was probably already dry, and this way I had a little bit of wet paint to work with, and it gets a little bit smoother blend right there. What was the question again? Oh, the colors. Yeah, I don't know. I use the same colors a lot, so after a while you just kind of get used to what mixes, what colors mix with each other, and what undertones they'll have, and look, if you've got a blue or a gray or a green or something, you kind of see, is that more of a blue green, or is it more of a yellow green, and that can kind of inform your decisions. So the greens in this one were pretty kind of middle of the road greens, and I wasn't going to need a lot of the yellow tones. I figured that I'm just adding a little bit more white here. Yeah, I don't know. Each painting is a little bit different, but yeah, that's kind of where I start. It's just kind of look and try to see what the undertones of the colors are, what is going on with them, and start there.
Good answer. I think you got that one right.
Okay, thanks.
Plus 5 points.
All right, so since this is kind of rustic and all that, I'm not going to worry too much about blending everything out. It might be a little dented. It might not be quite, perfectly smooth everywhere, so I'm not going to get too fussy with it. I do want to, I'll wait for it to kind of dry a little bit, and then we'll put some really bright streaks of white in here, but for now we'll leave that. Let's grab a little bit of the burnt sienna, and we'll add a little bit of that down here because that's kind of that rust color, right? It's got a lot of reddish undertones, so that'll be really pretty right there. We'll do a little bit up here. This is watered down, so it's not too dark. You can tap over it to kind of smooth it out a little bit. There we go. All right, very good. I might do a little bit up here on this handle since this other handle has some rust too. Let's go ahead and just tap in a little bit of rust around that seal right there. Might look a little more authentic. There we go. All right, now let's do the fun part. This is our flowers.
So now this is just like a water pitcher or something?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like a ceramic pitcher, little metal with ceramic covered.
If they couldn't find a vase somewhere, they had to use...
Well, it looks prettier. It's kind of vintage-ish.
Oh, okay.
Vintagey.
Huh.
You're a guy, you wouldn't understand.
Exactly.
I'm going to use some of this brown and or this gray, dark gray, and I'm going to pull it along that edge there. And just do a little bit right there.
I'm going to zoom in so people can see the rust effect once you have a moment. I'm just lightly tapping here so I don't have a solid line. Okay, go ahead. You're too far. I can't get it over any farther, so you're going to have to zoom out. Okay, let's go ahead and water down this gray a little bit. I'm going to use it on the underneath here, just create a little bit of a shadow underneath the picture into one side. Very little bit of water, and I'm kind of just very lightly sort of dry brushing this on. Do like that. Two more little streaks here. All right. Let's go ahead and use this. We're going to switch over to the Filbert. I'm going to mix my green with some of the purple. Makes a really dark green. Might even add a little bit of the brown. It's a really beautiful dark green. And we're going to have some really dark areas right up here, close to the bottom of the picture. This whole area is in shadow, so I'm going to kind of pull some of this over the top. But I'm going to dab in. Let's go ahead and draw in with our chalk really quick where our flowers are going to go, and that way we'll kind of know where to place these. So our first big one is right here. It's right over the top of the handle. Then there's another one right up here, and then there's one that's kind of going off the edge, so I'm going to move it over it just a little bit so we're seeing a little bit more of it right there. And then there's some spiky stuff happening there. There's some coming up this way, there's some coming out that way, and then there's these long ones that are trailing off over the top of the handle this way. Okay.
What?
I don't know if that's showing up really well.
Well, yeah, I can see it, so. What?
It's got some attitude over there. What? Oh, I can see it.
Well, I just needed to be able to see it so I knew where to put these leaves.
So if people are like, I don't know if I can draw this out.
I will have it available, yes, on
Patreon?
Patreon. Yes.
Oh, look at that. Did that
Ooh,
work?
look at you. You're all fancy.
Man, it only took us like 2 years to do that.
I know. It's amazing.
So down below, there's a link to the Patreon page. For $1 a month, you get access to all the traceables, to the videos that she's done back through
Adding yellow oxide here.
February 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a $5 level that gets access to a monthly bonus video. And then $10 level that is for the bonus video and the traceables, and also access to a private Facebook group where she does even more weekly art chats and challenges and polls and things like that. So
Yes.
now how do I turn that off? Okay.
Okay. Pressing that flat. I'm having a hard time getting like a solid edge on my brush. So it's got to be able to come together here for it to come together on your canvas. So just making sure that there we go. So let me show you this leaf stroke. It's kind of fun to do. We don't have to do it on this, but it might be fun if you want to practice it. You're going to set your brush down, and like I said, make sure that you have it pressed flat so it's got a nice chiseled edge. And you're going to set it down and turn it so that it creates this leaf shape for you. I'm going to go ahead and do some this way. Sit down flat, and ooh, there you go, honey. You're getting it all. I'm going to do a straight line there so we can kind of see where to put our leaves off of. And now that happened because I didn't have my brush pressed flat, so do it again, get my brush pressed flat. So it's kind of fun, quick way of doing these leaf strokes. You can also do them by pressing your brush on its edge, so this way. Make sure it starts out flat, but then I'll do it up here. Press your brush on its corner and then lift, and sometimes it'll have a little bit of a broken edge, but that's all right. So okay, so kind of fun. This is a decorative painting technique, so you see it a lot in kind of one stroke paintings, which I did for lots of years.
I'm glad it's not a destructive painting technique.
Oh, what?
Destructive painting.
I'm going for some dark green here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Me either, but that's okay.
All right. Just as long as we're clear.
I just want people to hear me talk.
All right.
Because there's some people out there that really love it when I talk.
Yeah, we get comments about that all the time. You got your own kind of fan groupies there, hon.
I got my own thumbs down.
You do. When you get a lot of people that are like, I got a comment the other day, I loved it. They were like, said something about they love the show, and y'all are. It was kind of like you guys are so funny. Well, Mark's funny. It was said like that. It was really funny. It's like, let's be clear, who we mean is funny. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's my favorite fan right there.
It's just, I'm sure she didn't mean it the way it was worded, but it was just really funny. It just tickled me because it was like. All right, I'm just putting some of these over the top here now. So some
kind of, I don't know. I'm trying not to, I don't want them to be too like perfect, so I'm kind of trying to mess it up a little bit. Here, you can do some that are kind of a little bit off on their own, and a little bit not quite exactly the same every time. And there's some different leaves. Now that we've got this dark in here, now we can kind of tap in some other leaves and just shapes. Some of these you're not even really going to see the whole leaf. You're just going to see parts of it, like the side of it or a little corner of it, or, you know, it's going to be covered up with other things. So I'm going to put in some more just random leaf shapes here. Covering over the edge there. This is really fun. Some of these I'm just kind of swiping with the brush, you know, just swiping little wispy leafy shapes. They don't have to be defined fully. We'll have some leaves coming out around the sides of our flower here, so I don't want to just have the flower all by itself. We'll put some stuff around it. And then there's some going up this way, with some leaves kind of coming off the sides like this. Let's do this brush. We'll try this one. This is the number 4 round. Now a little bit extra water to this because it helps with the round brush to have a little bit of more water in your brush. Makes the paint flow off of it a little bit better. So let's set this down and kind of just pull some leaf shapes. Grab some white here. Really just kind of laying the foundation for our other flowers and things. We kind of need this greenery to sort of support it. Put in a stem coming out that way. Grab my angle brush here, and I think it's time to start with our pink flowers. So we'll go ahead and grab our Quinacridone Magenta there, and some white. Keeping it fairly dark. Just a little bit of white to start with. And we're going to do the centers of these pink flowers. I'm going to go ahead and kind of open them up just a little bit, but the center is where it's going to be the darkest, so just kind of targeting that, and I'm going to do sort of rounded shapes around the outside of it. Like that. Then grab some more white. I'm going to start kind of lay in these little petals going around it. They're kind of curved.
Okay, somebody said that they have a hard time mixing with the yellow oxide. Have you experienced anything like that?
Mixing with the yellow oxide?
Yeah.
No, not really. I wonder why. I wonder if the texture's not right for theirs on theirs.
I don't know. They just said that having a very tough time mixing with yellow oxide.
Huh.
Any suggestions? So maybe they will give more details.
Yeah. You probably need more yellow than... Yellow's not got a huge or, very strong tinting strength. So you tend to need to use more of it than your green to be able to get it to show up. So that may be what they're talking about. I don't know. All right, I'm going to use the Filbert here.
Man,
Some more of this lighter pink here.
I forgot the camera transition.
And then I'm going to dip right into that bright white on the very tip. What?
I forgot to do the camera transition there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll know when I remember.
Huh?
Said you'll know when I remember.
Okay. I'm experimenting with this. Sorry. I'll explain better on these ones. I'm just kind of playing with this to get the look that I want. And I'll explain it better over there. Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah, they want a better explanation of the flowers.
Okay.
Because theirs are looking like blobs, you're saying.
Really?
I'm not lying to you.
Okay.
I'm not making
All
this
right,
stuff
so
up.
start in the center. I'm going to go kind of cup around, small brush strokes around it. And then as I get around that a little bit bigger, I'm going to get a little bit wider with them. I think the main thing that I see is that a lot of people will end up with a perfectly round edge, and you want to kind of have this kind of irregular border that looks a little bit more natural. This one's got a petal kind of coming way down here. Yeah. Get a little bit of the darker color and just tap in a little bit more where I want it darker. The center is going to be usually kind of a just triangle shape almost. If you look at this one, you can see it really well in this picture what that triangle looks like right there. That dark area right there. And the rest of these petals are kind of just overlapping one another, so you're only seeing like portions of them. So we can start in the center and work that triangle shape right there, and then just kind of go in between each one of these and open it up and add more petals. Okay, this is very stylized. It's not supposed to look, particularly realistic, so this is much more of that kind of impressionist looking type floral. So I'm going to put some flower petals that are kind of popping out open right there. All right, and that's all you need to do. I think that a lot of people overdo it too. They get going and they kind of just overwork it. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get, to get the look that we're going for here. I'm going to get a little bit more of the white and just put a little bit of highlights on a few of these petals where I want them to kind of look like they're sticking out a little bit more, maybe. There we go. All right. Okay, let's use the little brush. And we'll put in some stems for our Queen Anne's lace flowers. There's those white flowers that have that kind of crown on the top. So we'll do some right here. Let's get one up. High over here. I'm gonna go ahead and start from the center and just pull little, almost like spokes out. This one's a little bit big there. Let's do one off this side. There's one right here. It's kind of coming up this way. You can use a liner brush for this instead if you're having trouble getting straight lines. This is not cooperating much for me here with this brush. It may be easier to just use a liner. I'm going to go ahead and dab in some greenery along the edge of this. It's going to be purple flowers, but there's going to be some greenery in amongst them. So I'm just dabbing the tip down, straight down, kind of along the middle of the stem and on either side of it, just a little bit. Okay. Clean that out, and then I'm going to use some yellow with my green, mostly yellow, a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium, and I'm going to dab kind of at the ends of the Queen Anne's lace to get some green kind of base for them, right at the ends of all of those little things. And I'm kind of making a curved line with it. What are you saying? Wow. Oh, really? Is that better? Get a little bit darker green then. Adding just a little bit of detail to some of these leaves, giving them a little bit of highlight or stem, whatever. I think I'm going to put this one a little bit over the top of this pink blossom there. Kind of set it back. Okay.
Got an interesting question.
Okay.
So are the lighter colored flowers, like the whites and yellows, are they harder to paint than the other ones?
They can be, because they're like, you know, they're there's not as much contrast, so you don't have as much color to work with, you know. So there's a lot more subtle differences with the color changes, you know. So here's the white, see if we can get that. So you can see why we needed that background to be at least a little bit dark so that we can see these white at all, because they're very hard to see against that color there, but I think they're showing up okay. This is pure white. It's got it fairly thick, so it's going to come off really nice and blobby on our canvas, and that way we can get kind of good coverage. I'm using the very tip of my brush pointed down to get these little random dots, shapes. We can maybe do some, there's some kind of tucked in the middle here. There we go. All right, let's grab some purple. A little bit of our ultramarine blue. Mix those two together. And we'll grab some of our white and bring it over here.
So these, the
Add
pink.
a little bit of white.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you don't add the white to this purple, it will look black. So you need a lot of white in here. Go ahead.
They were just wondering what type of flower the pink ones are. Are they peonies or are they roses?
I think they're roses. I think they look like roses to me.
Okay. Sorry for talking over you there.
What?
Sorry for talking over you while you were
It's all right.
doing colors.
All right, so these are kind of growing in little clusters, sort of off on either side of this. Not sure what these are, but so I've got the darker color kind of down here. I've loaded a little bit of the lighter color on the tip so that when I press down, I can get kind of both of them. If I press hard enough, I can get both of them to come off on my brush at the same time while I'm dabbing. And I'm just kind of pointing it straight down, going side to side. To create these little effects. I like these purple flowers, are pretty. Pretty. Add some down in here. There's some poking in. Okay. And then we're going to do a color that's pretty close to the dark parts of this, maybe a little bit of purple with it. So we'll grab that Quinacridone Magenta and bring it over here. Maybe add a teeny tiny bit of the purple to it. And I've still got this dark, or this white over here, so I'll just use it. And this is going to be these little flowers here, and I'm not sure what they are, but they're kind of, it almost reminds me of the crepe myrtles that we have in our front of our house. Grab some white here, dab some of that over there. Quinacridone Magenta is very transparent, so you're going to definitely need a little bit of white for it to show up. If it doesn't. A little bit of it in here. These are not as well defined, so you can put a few of them over the top of the pink flower there. They're kind of popping up around here. A little bit up in here. And that's about about it. Let me put some white over here. I'm noticing a Queen Anne's lace that was right in here that I missed. Let's put that in. Grab some of that white. Use some of that dark. Oh yeah, I missed a couple of them that were down here. Didn't notice that. That's all right. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the mockingbird that you can hear.
Oh, and the, yeah. Yeah, he's making a lot of noise out there.
Our cat must be around.
Yeah, yeah. Oliver's probably messing with him. Yeah, Oliver's a menace to anything that comes in our yard. He's gray, so he just kind of blends right into the... We had our cat before him was cream colored, and so he'd pretend like, you know, he was stalking things, or, you know, he would be out there stalking things, and the bird would be like, I can see you. You know, like he didn't get away with anything. He was always so visible, it wasn't even funny, you know, and the birds are just looking at him like, yeah, dude, you're not fooling anybody, we can see you. And then Oliver's out there and like, killing everything. All right. I like it. It's so pretty. Kind of colorful. So, let me see.
Are you going to put the brown tacky thing on it?
No, I don't want that on there. No.
I don't want that.
Nah. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I don't think it adds anything to it. Let me add a little bit of white to this green here. Just add some bright green sections. So.
So, are you going to do any vlogging on our epic video game tournament?
I should.
Journey?
That would be funny. I heard people wanting me to vlog how exciting it's going to be. They just want to see how thrilling this whole epic adventure is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Me not watching video games so I don't get sick. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm adding some more greenery here just because I feel like it. Okay. I think we are about done. Kind of fun. Now that that pink is dried, I'm going to maybe add a little bit more of the white. Just a little bit. Just to soften it up. It's kind of a soft pink in our picture, so I don't want it too dark. All right, and then we can use the pink, or the white here. I'm going to add a bright streak to our thing there. There we go. Bright streak there, little bright streak right here. And then we can even add a little bit of hint of pink in here, just a touch of it. It'll pull that pink down here. We don't want it to look pink, but we can kind of, it might catch the reflection of some of our pink flowers maybe. That'll kind of tie in. What is that? Okay. There, and then I think I want to splatter it, because why not, right?
Why not?
Why not?
Oh, that's something to sneeze at.
That's good, yeah.
Hashtag splatter movement.
All right, gonna get some light, get some ultramarine blue going. A little bit of that brown. Okay, really? Is that necessary, Scooter? Every show. Why are you hacking over there? What is going on? Puppy? What do you want? All right. You want to say hi? Speak? Hi, I know. Hi. Okay, we're going to use this and we'll just splatter. Oh, that's better. Feeling better about this already. Add something to our kind of expanses of white here. Just a little bit extra detail. All right, you can leave that part out if you don't want to do it, but I think it's fun. All right, so that's the end of that one, and we'll be doing 2 more in this series with the similar colors and everything, so I think it'll be pretty fun. I think I kind of wish I had not gone so cream in the background, but oh well.
Uh-oh.
Looking at it now. Well, it dried a lot. It kind of be more yellow than I really wanted it to be. I wanted it to be more kind of gray, but that's all right. I know, rookie mistake, right?
Sorry, everybody.
All right, guys. Hope you have a great week. We will not have a show this Saturday. We're going to be in Atlanta, like Mark said. And we'll be back next Tuesday with our part 2. And we'll be doing this one. This one will be another picture and different colors, same background. And so they'll all kind of match and go together if you want to do the series. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.